Are we recording? I can't hear you unless you speak into the microphone, Aaron.
We are recording.
Well, it would have been nice if I knew that information a little sooner, because now I gotta get started again. Let's see what this is. Test out some equipment here to get started. Oh, this is me playing guitar. Can you hear that, Aaron?
Yeah.
It's a track I laid down last night.
It's pretty good.
It's actually really good. If you knew anything about technique and guitar playing. I mean, I won't bore you with the whole thing, but it's pretty good.
That's what I said.
It's exceptional.
Okay.
You wouldn't know that, though.
Guess not.
I mean, I'll get a second opinion. Well.
It's Hollywood.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? My name is Jimmy John, and I wanted to order some hoagies.
All right, what can I get for you?
Is it okay? Can you deliver to a Jimmy John's?
We don't deliver. Was it a catering? Did you want to do like a catering box?
No, I'm just celebrating this guitar solo. Here, check it out. Do you hear that?
Okay, yeah, we don't deliver.
Okay, then we could probably pick it up. Can you hear that guitar solo?
Yeah.
It's technically really good. So we're going to be celebrating my guitar solo, and I just wanted to. We can get some hoagies. I could send Jared over.
All right. Oh, which sandwiches do you want?
Do you remember Jared from Subway? It's a different Jared. My name's not Jared. My name's Jimmy John.
All right, sir, if you're going to I'm not going to take your order, and please don't call back.
I'm sorry, hello? That was rude. Well, I don't know what I did. What do you think I did there, Aaron?
I mean, I hate to think it's an indictment of your guitar playing.
Do you think that's what it is? She didn't like the guitar playing?
I mean, probably not. But that's no telling of her taste.
Okay, I'll call her back then.
Oh boy.
I'll see if it's because of the guitar playing. Because if it is, that fucking sucks, because that's what we were celebrating my guitar solo. Jimmy John, that's me, my friend Jared from Subway. Not the spokesman, Jared. Just my friend Jared that works at Subway.
Say for help you.
Hey man, I just spoke to your associate. She was a female.
Yeah.
And I was talking to her about getting some sandwiches for my friend Jared from Subway, and my name's Jimmy John. And we're celebrating this guitar solo that I did. Hello? He hung up, too. You know what I think the problem is? I think they all have an attitude problem over there. That's what I think it is. Amanda's not here. She's faking sick. Have you seen the show Dress Up Gang, Aaron?
I haven't been able to see it yet.
Well, this is going to be embarrassing because I'm going to call one of the guys from the show. But you haven't seen it.
I love the sketch Cute House.
Oh, really?
Like, I love the shit out of that thing.
Well, do you have cable?
No, I don't.
Do you have access to anybody's cable login?
I do not.
Damn, it's chilly out there.
Here's a clip.
Look, I don't think I can have any pie tonight, Brent.
Well, you didn't like the pie?
No, it was 10 out of 10. I just don't sleep well when I eat pie that late.
Oh, I see why you tripping. But you actually don't need to trip because we ain't even eating pie anyway.
We're not?
Nah, we got something different tonight. Crème brûlée. I worked on this custard all day. Let me just glaze that ass right quick.
Brent, I can't.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Come on, sing it, Donnie. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Let me just glaze that ass right quick.
Let me just glaze that ass right quick.
There you go. You earned it.
Brent, I told you. I can't sleep when I eat sweets this late.
All right, you don't have to eat it. Just crack the glaze with the back of your spoon. See what happens.
Oh,
Hello.
let's see. Does this sound good now or no?
Yeah, I think so. I can hear you.
Okay, it's good on my end.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you beautifully.
Tell me if you can hear this. Did you hear that?
Yeah, heard it and felt it.
That was this guitar solo that I did last night.
You didn't do that.
Check it out. So I was calling some sandwich places because I'm celebrating my guitar solo.
Awesome.
I laid it down last night. I just played a clip from. This is my guest, Aaron. This is going to be a little awkward for you, Cory. This is Cory. Is it Loykasek? Is that how you pronounce it?
It's Loykasek.
Loykasek. God damn it.
It's all good.
I'll just
I
edit
would
it
say
out.
just say whatever you want to say. Just say it confidently.
That's a pretty good. That's a very chill attitude to have towards your name.
Yeah, well, it's from years of stand-up and having it butchered every time you go on stage. So it's like, just honestly say whatever. Just don't stutter halfway through.
World record! World record! World record!
Yeah, I think that, I mean, the more I've watched people get to that next rung, it does seem like that's the little gear that does it. Just putting in, like, go up, do your set, go home, listen to it, improve the joke, go back the next time. Plus, it probably gives you more of a kind of a rush and a sense of purpose when you're performing. Might make it more exciting if you know that you're building towards something
Yeah.
instead of just like freestyling on stage and hoping it goes well and not learning from any mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, I do like to keep it like like I was never one of those guys who's like those New York comedians who are just like, dude, I get up every night, I do 10 sets a night. I don't want to, if I do it like 3 times a week, 4 times a week, that's plenty.
Well, you don't want to ruin the je ne sais quoi, the whole thing. If you got a good vibe. I mean, part of stand-up is also just feeling good on stage. So if doing that would burn you out, then it's self-defeating too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something about those really regimented comedian sets where like it almost feels like you're being talked at instead of with, or it doesn't feel as in the moment to me. I don't know if I necessarily prefer those sets. I like your style where you go up and it's loose and you got your material to go on if you need it, but otherwise, then in the audience you feel like you're part of the process.
Yeah, and people can sense that too. Like I feel like people can tell when you are actually in the moment or kind of just pretending, like when comedians like laugh at their own joke or whatever, and you're like, oh, you do that every set. You didn't just accidentally make yourself laugh.
Or where you screw up a word and then you go, oh, I don't mean that, I mean this. And you're like, you act like you screw up that word every night. That's got to be your set.
Oh, that happened naturally one night. And they were like, oh, shit, that was fun. That 1 second of spontaneity that happened in my whole boring fucking set. That was fun. I'm going to try to recreate that spontaneity every fucking night for the next 15 years.
Hey, look, I've tried it. I mean, I've been guilty of it too, but it is it's soul sucking to do it more than a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we all try. I mean, there are devices that are useful. And, like one that I've always thought about, like just trying to do like, something like that, like mispronouncing a word that is obviously set up or whatever to make the joke work, or another device that would take some like serious writing, but this is another device that I see a lot, but it works every fucking time, is when you say a bunch of stuff real fast, leading to like
and then you get the applause.
The applause break, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta do
the way you phrased it. I hate it when comics say, it works. That always works. Like, what do you mean it works? It's like making it sound so like people are robots and you figured out how to crack the code.
Well, it's like date rape drugs work too. Doesn't fucking make it right.
That's exactly the right analogy there.
It could be.
Well, plus you kind of use the crowd. Like, I remember the first time I saw you do sets, this is like way back at the Purple Onion, but Gene Hackman joke, I don't know if that was like part of your repertoire or just something you did for a little bit, but telling the crowd that Gene Hackman died.
Yeah.
That's what still to this day one of my favorite jokes. And what I love is just like the crowd is immediately involved.
Yeah.
And that just creates such a fun, palpable energy in the room all of a sudden.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize that you had like seen me perform that long ago.
Yeah,
or at all.
I mean, I think I might have mentioned this once, but it's because I was dressed as a bum doing stand-up. Remember that?
Oh,
and then I opened for you and Doug Stanhope.
Yeah, that was you?
Yeah.
I do remember that, and God, that was a long time ago.
Oh, dude, it was like right when I started as this character before I did it as myself, and because we would film these little sets for this as part of something else, and then I opened for the Purple Onion, and I was gonna open for you and Doug that weekend at the San Jose Improv, and you were like, dude, that was something like that was funny, and I was like, yeah, I was gonna hope to do it this weekend, but I think they're gonna want to make me do myself, and you're like, oh, I'll tell Doug this is funny, just do that. And then that weekend, I was trying to host this show at the San Jose Improv as this homeless guy character. And the second I went on stage, people were not buying it at all. And I just ate shit so hard. And then Doug went up, and I didn't know who he was at the time. I wasn't even like a stand-up fan when I started. And he just talked shit about me for like 20 minutes. And I was so pissed that after the show, I almost wanted to go say something to him. Because I just didn't know how stand-up even worked. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing talking shit?
Yeah.
And then later anyway, thank God I didn't say anything. Obviously, he has to address what I just did.
Yeah.
And things like that I was overly sensitive to. And
holy shit, dude. Have we talked about that? If we did, it was like I was drunk.
I might have mentioned it. I feel like I said something maybe I want to say even like Doug Pounds over brunch or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Long time, but it was a long time ago. And I don't know if we really got into it. And nor did we really know each other at that time. So
Yeah. It takes a while for me to figure people out before I.
Your brain's only supposed to get like 150 names in it, so you got to be careful which ones you let in.
Dude, that is hilarious, and that's and right there as somebody starting out. That's a good lesson is like your homeless guy, that'll work at the Purple Onion. That's not going to work at the San Jose Improv, though.
Especially, and the subtlety there was that I had done it another time there, but what I did is before the whole show, I waited. I panhandled the line as they were waiting to come in. And I wasn't hosting. Okay, so then when the host brought me up, he was like, hey, this guy's been hanging around the Improv for a while. We're going to give him a shot at doing a set. Brought me up like in a way that made sense. And so when I walked out, people were like, oh, I'd seen that guy up front, and it kind of clicked. This was like, because the makeup like looked good enough, but not great. And so then hosting a show, though, you're like, it's just the minute you walk out on stage, no introduction, you're like, what the fuck is this setup? I had no context.
Yeah, that's funny. That and that Gene Hackman joke too is like, so smartphones killed that. You can't do a joke like that anymore.
Really? Even if you just said like it just happened, or no?
People start because then everybody in the place starts Googling it. Yeah. So nobody's listening to you after you're just like, yeah, no, he just died. I just saw it on Yahoo. Don't look it up. But people are gonna have to look it up.
What a bummer. Yeah, I mean, it would. The good thing about doing that homeless character in the beginning, I watched some old clips of it, and I'm like, kind of impressed actually with. I mean, really green and this and that, but I really took my time with the jokes and like was really kind of calm on stage. And I think just because I was a character where I just felt 100% confident because it's not me. And then when I started doing it as myself, I just would like rush through stuff. Like my early sets are really, really hard to watch, or like impossible to watch as myself. But that character thing, maybe that's a good way to get on late night for the first time.
Character, yeah. I mean, characters are the best because you can, you just like hide behind. You're not yourself. You have someone else to blame.
Yeah, I remember this guy when I first started this. Tony Sparks, the old.
Is that Iron Man?
What's that?
Is that Iron Man? That's Iron Man's real name. Tony Sparks.
Oh yeah. Oh well, maybe it's just I didn't never even connected that. Maybe that's in his stage name or something. He was like he ran all the open mics. He was the godfather of San Francisco comedy. And I remember when I first started the homeless. That was his slogan, not San Francisco slogan.
Yeah.
But he came up and he was like, "Damn, dude, this homeless thing is so smart, dude." He's like, every other comic gets up there, who are the people gonna remember when they go home? The homeless guy.
That's right.
And I ended up talking myself out of it and doing 10 years of not that. And lately I've been like, honestly, that would have been the best thing for me to do. Is just stick with that the whole time.
Well, now you got a TV show.
Yeah, that is right.
Dress Up Gang.
Yeah, it just came out on May 1st.
And this is more your show than the other guy's show, right?
It's like a little bit more mine. Yeah. If you go to my website, I'll tell you every single joke I thought of specifically and every influence that was mine specifically.
You got to do that. You got to cover your ass.
Yeah. We turn on each other immediately. It's only been 2 weeks on TV.
Here, check this out.
Oh, hell no.
Did you ever hear that before?
No, is that you?
No, it's some guy from Vine.
It's pretty good.
He said, "Oh hell no!" Uh-huh.
Was he saying? Do you know where he filmed it? Was that like in church or was it?
No, it's just a guy standing in his living room. Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack you. I'm just jealous that you got a TV show, so I was just like trying to play some cool clips that I found.
No, yeah. You got to even it out. We'll say what I've been up to, and then you can play a Vine. Bring the attention.
A Vine that some other dude made.
Well, you found it, and that takes a lot of work.
The show's great, by the way. I was a fan already before it was on TBS, but I hadn't seen everything. I don't watch a lot of stuff online.
Me either.
My side piece, Amanda, who's my main side piece that I have a kid with.
Right.
She's a big
You got a
fan.
wife. You got a wife you never see, but you're really invested in your side piece.
Yeah, it's funny. I treat my wife more like the side piece. Nobody knows about my wife. They just know about my side piece.
You're a horrible husband, but amazing adulterer.
But no, the show's fucking great. I was so happy to see that they finally put it out. That because you guys, they were like sitting. It was part of that Super Deluxe thing or something, or.
Yeah, I think as far as I can tell, we finished it two and a half years ago, and they were going to put it out on Christmas, and then we just got a call like from our agents, like, yeah, I think they're just not gonna. They said they're just not gonna air it. Like what? So yeah. So anyway, so we'll figure out something else, and it was just like this casually just over.
Yeah.
And I think they had put it in. They had some late night Adult Swimmy kind of Super Deluxe block they wanted to do, and then change game plans when AT&T bought it. That's what I have kind of heard from it all, but no one even formally told us what was up.
Nobody ever tells you what is up. This is such a town of snakes and liars that you'll never find out. You'll never get to the bottom of anything.
Yeah, and it was even more frustrating because everybody that we worked with day to day there was actually like really awesome and helpful, and they really genuinely liked the show. It was like some upper top brass person that we've never met or talked to, or I don't know. It's like I couldn't even really be mad at the people I'd been working with because they'd been so helpful and nice. So it was like it was a fucked up 2 years trying to figure out how to feel about it. Even when they said the show was coming out, I wasn't like, oh yes. I was like, fucking finally. Like the feeling was like if my mom was like, are you so excited? And I was like, kind of, but it's like getting out of prison for something I didn't do. So I'm like excited, but also like, why the fuck was I in there for 2 years? Well, so it was a dream come true up until that point, right? Because we made a web series in my house, and then pitched that. And while the process was really long and drawn out and tough, it all worked out. So the first show we pitched, we sold over a couple of years of a pilot and this and that. We finally did it and made it, and I loved what we had made. So I kind of couldn't complain at all until then. The opposite. I mean, I had this thrilling experience. But then once it wasn't going to air, that's my only resume. We even had to take our web series down to, as part of the deal for having the show go up. So
Ain't that
it
a
was
bitch?
like just erased everything we'd done for like 5 years. So it just felt like extra depressing.
Were you guys all roommates for real?
Yeah. Well, me and Donnie and Rob, who co-wrote it and directed it with us, we all lived together, and then Rob moved out, Frankie moved in, Donnie moved out, and Kevin Kamiya moved in.
That's a good crew. I mean, there's so many things that had to work. Cause like if you had one, if just one clunker wound up moving into your house, it could have fucked everything up.
Totally, especially because we had to film it there. And it was kind of each person that moved in just folded into the stories that we were telling in the web series. So by the time we had the show, it was basically just a list of whoever had lived in the house or been our friend at the time of the web series, just kind of randomly. So worked out great. I mean, we ended up having a show where everyone ended. So one of our best friends. I mean, it was a dream come true.
Damn, I should have fucking made friends with you guys sooner. Well, maybe in the next season we'll start like hanging out. We'll do some Zoom hangouts and shit, and maybe get to know each other.
7 years from now, when they finally want a season 2,
I feel like
we'll get you in there.
a show like that is very self-contained. I feel like, because who knows? Well, I don't know. Okay, here's a question for you. And just, whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
Would you say that these times that we're in right now are precedented or unprecedented?
Well, I think I know what that word means. I think it's unprecedented for our day-to-day life, but it seems like from an outside perspective, you'd be like, I could see that coming.
Yeah. Well, in these unprecedented times that we're in, I feel like the TV networks are scrambling to figure out, because nothing's in production right now.
I know.
And I feel like a show like that, because I'm currently dealing with a show. It's weird. It's like this whole thing without getting into it, because I also have I told Brent that I would call him too.
Hit him up.
Yeah, I was thinking we could maybe play a joke on him and say, I mean, he probably won't fall for it. But
you probably won't. Does he know you're calling? Because he sleeps until like 3 p.m.
Yeah, he knows. I think like he's maybe annoyed with me because he probably woke up like an hour ago and is like waiting for me to call him. But no, I was just gonna say, because I told him that I was calling you first, but maybe we can act like, you're mad at him or something for something he did, like he was acting like a big shot on set or whatever. Like you can be like, I don't want to talk about that. I'll be like, well, no, it's legitimate, like. Just Brent, you said Brent was kind of like acting like a hot shot on set a couple times or something.
Yeah, and he'd always want to do too many takes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually the funny thing,
that's real though.
Brent, yeah, I know Brent can be kind of annoying in real life though.
We just, you get gold when you let Brent do it, but we would just carve out a little extra time for the day to make sure we got enough, make sure we had room for 15 takes of every line.
Yeah. That's nothing against Brent. Brent is one of my favorite people, and
100%.
He's also fun to mess with. Like there was one time me and I was driving home from like UCB or something, and Chelsea Peretti and Moshe Kasher texted me or called me or something. They were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm driving home from UCB," and they were like, "Well, we're with Brent, and we have to go to this Walgreens because they have this special popsicle that he likes and he just won't fucking let it drop. So we have to go to this fucking Walgreens at like Western and Sunset." And they were like, "Do you want to meet us there?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm like, practically driving past it. I'll just meet you guys there." So I met them and we go in to the Walgreens and Brent gets his popsicle and then we're just kind of like, shooting the breeze, walking around the aisles. And I say to Chelsea, I'm like, "Chelsea, go up and touch Brent's popsicle." Because, Brent's like a crazy, he's a crazy germaphobe.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's not gonna translate in the telling of it, but it is one of the funniest moments. So Brent's just there, and grown man sitting there licking a popsicle, looking at some shit in an aisle at a CVS or whatever. And Chelsea just walks up to him and goes, "Is this good?" And takes her thumb and forefinger and just grabs the tip of the popsicle very gently.
Oh my God.
And Brent just was in shock. He was just like, "Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I'm not going to eat that now. Why would you even do that?" "Well, I'm not going to eat that." And
the thing is that was going to be the best part too. That best bite, the one you touched. Oh shoot! I wish I hadn't done that. I could totally see him.
Well, we should call him and try to just see if we can get him. He'll just play along probably right off the bat. But he's very.
I know. He also. I don't know if this would be anything, but there was this inside joke about this restaurant or this store that he and Frankie go to in our show called Panthers, and he explained the joke. It's the joke and only behind the scenes was just this place Panthers is they sell corduroy pants. You can get a mango smoothie. they do everything, but through weird times, and it's just a catch-all place. And he explained the joke on the show last night, and maybe there's something hey, that TBS called us and you can't. I'm trying to think. He really went into this detailed behind the scenes joke. I'm wondering if there's something with dude, you shouldn't have said that because TBS hit us up and Panthers is already a place, or I don't know. Okay. I don't know if there's anything there.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Here, I'll give him a call and see. Maybe I could play this clip. I played this before I called you.
Let me just glaze that ass right quick.
That made me laugh really hard.
Glaze that ass
Dude,
right quick.
that episode is from.
You earned it.
That episode is straight real life. That is Brent peer pressuring you to get dessert
Oh yeah.
at 1 a.m. after every stand-up show, and you're like, "Dude, I don't want to go out. I'm fucking tired." Shoot, though, it's gonna be so fun.
You know what it is?
The thing is, yeah.
It's a not. Well, I didn't mean to cut you off. I've been in that position too, and also with him, him, Moshe, Chelsea. None of those guys drink, and I think that's eating takes the place of having a couple drinks after the show.
Yeah, I think so. And he also stays up hella late. I'm like, how does someone who doesn't drink coffee or party want to stay out so late every night?
Well, we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll call him.
Let's investigate.
But yeah, and getting peer pressured to eat is worse than drugs or alcohol, because it's I'm not force feeding myself at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's bad for your health, and it's a whole mission. It's well, if we're gonna do it, we got to go across town to this one diner because they have a churro or something. You're like, dude, a bar has everything you need right in it.
Yeah, and then by the time we're done eating, it'll be too late for you to get a drink somewhere.
Hello.
Brent Weinbach?
Yes, this is he.
This is Brendan M. Walsh. Actually, you know what? I was talking about this. I'm going to change my name for comedy.
Oh, you are?
What do you think of this?
What's your middle name? Matthew?
Michael.
Oh, close.
Mine too.
This is Cory Loykasek.
It's Loykasek.
How about this?
Loykasek.
He's on the line too, Brent. I was just talking to him.
Party. Oh, it's a party line up in here.
Yeah.
We're partying, bro.
Dude, I love
what do you think
lines, dude.
I got my guitar here too.
What's that?
I was just playing my guitar.
Oh, that's good, man. That's perfect for the party line. Is Amanda on the line as well?
No, Amanda's not feeling good.
Oh.
She, well, actually, maybe I can break the news here. I could always edit it out. She's good friends with, she's really good friends with one of her exes. And he's this, I don't know, rock climber, personal trainer guy. Either way, they're in Joshua Tree. They're just friends, but they got a place in Joshua Tree for the weekend. So, she's probably just, talking to him about the future or whatever.
They're quarantining together there, huh?
Yeah.
They just thought it'd be safer to quarantine there together. It's away from the busy, city and stuff.
Yeah, just get away from her life here.
Can I just glaze that ass right quick?
Let me just glaze that ass right quick.
Let me just glaze that ass right quick.
But
Limited glazing.
me and Cory were talking about our names and how if we had it to do over, we would change our names for show business.
Oh, really?
Well, because Cory's last name is, imagine like having, going up on stage every night with that last name and leaving it up to some MC to say it right.
The other part we didn't talk about names is like Loykasek is Czech, and God bless him, but I have no connection to that place. I don't even know anything about it. And it also looks like a hockey player's name. I feel like it gives me a whole thing that I'm not even like prepared to like.
Oh, you would change your name?
Not in real life. I love my name for life, but for stand-up,
For comedy?
heartbeat.
Well, for show business in general, like that's looking back on it, I'm like, you can give yourself you could be like fucking Ric Flair. You give yourself like a cool fucking name.
I don't know. I like the idea of, just using my real name because this is the real me,
Yeah.
Yeah, but your name works.
I just, I want to, it's like, I don't know. I guess, it's like, you want to get the legacy going, or something. I don't know. But hey, I mean, you know what? Whatever, man. You know what? I'll change my name. I'll change it to Brendan B. Walsh.
Well, what do you think of this? B. Michael Walsh.
Oh, so you sort of do like a Brody Stevens or something like that kind of thing where you kind of flip it around a little bit or whatever.
I've floated that out there, not even like totally serious, but the consensus was like, people think that I'm black before they see me. The name like B. Michael Walsh.
Or maybe you should change it to Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, now that's a guy. How do you not change your fucking name when your name is Michael Jordan and you're going into show business? I mean, it worked out for him.
Well, you use the middle initial. That's how you.
That's
how you
two.
do it.
That's still like, come on, man. Like, is your name like?
But maybe that helps because then you go, well, there was that Michael Jordan guy that I already like Michael Jordan. Like maybe it helps.
There was a guy, Tom Cruise, that remember there was scooter commercials for like Rascal Scooters, and the guy's name was Tom Cruise.
Right. There's a lot of different people with the same name,
There's a comedian named Bob Marley. I never understood that. I don't know the guy. I've never heard.
He's big in Maine. I've worked with him before. He's big in Maine.
I don't get how you just go like, well, I'll just be the other Bob Marley.
Well, it's like, I mean, when did Bob Marley die?
I don't know. Ooh, you know what? That's a good question. I'm going to say it could be as late as like early 80s.
Like, okay, if you start using somebody's name and they've died already, then that might work. You know what I mean? So, like,
but Bob Marley is like,
name, if I started using Elvis Presley, that could work maybe, Like, oh yeah, Elvis Presley's performing.
He died on May 11th, 1981. Oh shit, we just celebrated the 39th anniversary of his death.
But, I kind of feel like they didn't really run into the issues of like, oh, people are going to go see Bob Marley. Look, I remember seeing his name, Bob Marley, when he used to live in Los Angeles on the Laugh Factory marquee, like growing up in Los Angeles. And I used to think, Bob Marley, huh? I used to think, I did actually get confused about it. I used to think, oh, well, that's obviously not the musician, but, if anything, it helped him probably. It just caught my eye, It made
and then
me
you
think,
write jokes about it. Then you trap yourself with a set around it probably. Where you're like, well, that's my whole thing now.
Right.
Does he do that?
Well, I don't know. He has a lot of material. He has the record for the longest. Bob Marley has the record for the longest stand-up set in history, and it's like 40 hours or something like that.
Well, and you see, that's number one. I don't believe that, but number two, you're screwing up your legacy right there because now somebody's going through the record books, right? Someone's at the library. They're going through the record books, and they come across this fact. Bob Marley has the longest stand-up set. And they'll go, oh, shit, I didn't know that fucking reggae guy did stand-up too. Shit,
Right.
That guy's amazing.
Right. But Bob Marley,
legacy.
the comedian, has 20 albums or something like that. He has a ton of albums. So he's probably talked about the musician Bob Marley in his act at one point, I'd imagine. But it would be kind of cool if he went 20 hours of material without talking about the musician Bob Marley.
That'd be the world record, yeah. If he could really do that, that's incredible.
Just ignore the fact that you have
Completely
one of the most famous
ignore it, yeah.
names.
What do you
Get
think
up-
about this one?
Okay.
Cory Jacuzzi.
That's not bad.
That's
Isn't
pretty
that fun
cool.
to picture?
Corey
Just picture a guy in a jacuzzi. You just want to be there, don't you?
Yeah. And it kind of like goes with your style. You have like a pretty laid back look to you.
Totally.
Cory Jacuzzi.
Really?
It might
I thought
keep-
about it last. I thought about just going up with that name and then just being like, "That's not my name," but I'm just gonna go with, just hit it head on.
Well, we could go into this
Yeah.
together. We could both change our names like when we're already entrenched.
I think
thought
it's smart.
like Old Dirty Bastard when he changed his name to Big Baby Jesus.
Did he do it?
Yeah, he did that. I mean, I don't know how. I think everybody still referred to him as old because Old Dirty Bastard was already a fake name.
Yeah. Then you got a Meta World Peace. I mean, there's a little history of it. Muhammad Ali.
I always wanted to see little Bow Wow change his name to Big Bow Wow, and then from that change his name to Big Balls. Wow. But there was a time I thought about doing this kind of more as a stunt, not because I cared to get away with it, or not that I cared to because of like money reasons or something, but there was a time in San Francisco when you were not allowed to work a certain club, and you would get banned from like the two main clubs if you worked this other club in San Francisco. And I kind of thought I wanted to try to get away with it more just for the stunt aspect of it, and create this other persona and like wear a wig and sunglasses, and I was going to call myself Anthony the Comedy Dude, and I was going to do my same jokes but like do them with this sort of in a character kind of like that was more of a dude like, but that was like the comedy name that I was thinking about as Anthony the Comedy Dude, and see if I can get away with like actually working the club and getting paid, and nobody kind of knowing about it because I did this character or whatever.
I like it. Bring it back.
Did
you ever do it once?
No, I never ended up going through with it because I also just thought it was going to logistically be hard to get a paycheck that was made out. Like I didn't know how to deal with that, like get a paycheck that was going to.
Well, and also like the comedy community too. Like you would have gotten banned from the other club right away because somebody would run and tell on you.
Well, no, but people stayed away from that club so much that I think that they didn't. I think
club?
they didn't even know what was going on there.
What was the club?
It was I think it was called the Green Room or something. I think it was called the Green Room or something like that. But it was in the location of the old Cobb's. So when Cobb's moved, then this other club moved in to that spot. And for some reason, I don't know, like it's not that interesting. But there was already an issue in Sacramento. Like there was a club called Laughs Unlimited, and if you worked that club, you got banned from the Sacramento Punchline, and you weren't allowed to work both clubs. And then so that carried out. The owners of Laughs Unlimited were the owners of the Green Room in San Francisco, and so that rift carried on. And then for some reason, Tom Sawyer, the owner of Cobb's at the time,
another guy with a fucking name.
Right. Exactly. Well, you know Tom Sawyer is, right?
Yeah, I know Tom Sawyer. He was always nice to me. I mean, I don't have a long history with.
Oh no,
Cobb's.
Tom Sawyer is really cool. I like Tom Sawyer, and he actually gave me good advice in comedy too. As a club owner, a lot of people say club owners they give you bad advice or whatever. He gave me good comedy advice actually, but he had some issue with the owner. I don't know. He had some issue with them moving into his spot for some reason, his old spot for some reason or something like that. So anyway.
Oh, I thought it was just because they didn't want to share business with, like, as a way to kind of monopolize the comedians. Because that happened again with that club Hollies, right, in San Francisco.
Which one was
Remember
called?
that one? There was one called Hollies. It came in for like not long, a couple months. Did you ever do that place?
I don't know that one. I never even heard of that actually. Hollies.
It was like it was some place down. It was downtown. Well, anyway, it was short-lived. It was, I think, but I heard the same thing. You weren't allowed to perform at Punchline and Cobb's if you performed there. But I was so new, it didn't matter for me. But I remember thinking that's kind of an interesting spot to put comics in, where you have to like be used as leverage. But maybe that wasn't even the reason.
No,
it was a little weird, especially for openers and features, because it's not like they're the ones really drawing, But I mean, whatever. I'm sure they had their reasons, and I don't want to sound like I'm talking crap about the Punchline or Cobbs or whatever. It was a kind of a weird situation that happened. It was many years ago too. But Cory, did you hang out at the Punchline ever?
Yeah, I did the whole 10-month thing or whatever that was.
Oh, 10 months, huh? It was, yeah.
Right, hang out for 10 months and then ask if you can do one set.
That's funny. I mean, it wasn't like when I had to hang out there or whatever. It was the wait time was like 5 to 6 months, but it was. I guess it got longer later on.
I could be misremembering too, but I think
I think
right.
I did hear something like that where it did get long. Became like a year wait or something like that. But yeah. It's interesting. I never saw you there during my time there, but I guess it was a different time. Yeah.
The first time I saw you perform was you did a Boomtown show. I think I've mentioned this with Alex and Moshe.
Time, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, what was it called?
Boom Time was it? Yeah.
Boom Time, my bad. Yeah, Boom Time. And it was a part of Sketchfest and with my buddy, and you had that guy from American Idol on there.
Oh, it was at the Purple Onion.
Purple Onion,
that was so crazy. That was
one of the hardest I've laughed, and I didn't know you at all. And as you walked by after the show, I just grabbed your arm real quick, and I was like, "Hey, was that real or what?" And I think you just kind of moved on or something without trying to answer.
That's
Probably
funny that you asked that.
I don't know,
and it was real. That's the crazy thing is it was real. So Brendan, what happened was there was this guy on American Idol named he went by Eccentric.
That sounds like one of your guys.
Yeah, well, no, I mean he did it. First of all, if this. He was a kind of an inspiration to me, like for characters and stuff. But so is Excentric, and his real name was Martik Manoukian, and he was this guy from Glendale, where he lived in Glendale. And I saw his audition on The Soup on E, and I thought, what is it? I want to see this whole audition. It looked really good. And, the clip was online on YouTube or something like that. This is 2006.
I have it right here.
One that we want in LA.
Do you want to, should I play it or no?
Well, I'll say this before you play it, is that I was so blown away, and I actually was genuinely impressed with it. I did think it was funny, but I also thought there was a lot of talent there too. And, okay, you can play the clip, and then I'll tell you what happened.
Okay, I'm going to just play it from, it looks like right where he's on stage.
You mean like he's in front of the judges or whatever?
Yeah.
But actually, there's a lot of funny stuff he says before that, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but get to performance, though, I think.
Okay, I'll just play a little clip of the performance.
To play the performance. Yeah, just do the performance, yeah.
Okay, he's like getting
crawling
in the character.
Around. They added sound effects.
Yeah.
Not the YouTube, but the... Yeah,
he threw off his sunglasses and his jacket. He's taking off his shirt. Randy Jackson and Paul Abdul are laughing. Okay, now he's crawling around. Is there anything to hear in the clip? Or is this all pretty visual?
No, he starts singing, but he growls too.
Now he's doing like a spazzy Michael Jackson style dance.
It's so messed up that they add those sound effects, by the way, to his performance. It's not fair.
No, they're definitely...
There was a growl there.
I'm not being rude. Can we just get on with the singing here?
It's like adding sound effects to a fat guy walking down the street.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hold on. Back up. Did you hear what he said? He said, what are you going to sing for us? Sweetest Princess by Eccentric.
Okay,
so he wrote this. This is an original, okay? He wrote this.
Let me see. Hold on. I'll play it again.
Yeah. Marty, I'm not being rude. Can we just get on with the singing here?
What are you going to sing?
Sweetest Princess by Eccentric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me. Cruising in my coupe, my mind is made up. I have to find a girl that make my breath stop. Who can make my walls rock, be sensitive on top. Like I said, my mind is made up. Why don't you come around so my heart can hear your sweet, sweet sunshine? Hey girl, I gotta confess, you are the sweetest princess. Hey girl, I gotta confess, you are the sweetest princess.
Okay, so
he's pretty good.
He would say his name, Eccentric. He would growl, and he had this he has these different moves. He describes them in the clip. First of all, let me just say this. American Idol dedicated over 4 minutes to his segment, okay? That's a huge chunk of time for that show, okay? Think about that, 4 minutes of an hour show. I mean, that's a lot of
4 minutes, 18 seconds. That's what the clip is.
So it's like they saw something in him, too. It wasn't just like, there's a lot of people who come on and they give a little bit of time, too. Like, there's a lot of, like, the reject reel or whatever. Right. But this guy was special. And he describes all these dance moves that he has. Like, there's the flash, the tiger flash or whatever, or the panther flash. His whole thing was panther. He was like a panther, okay? And he kind of thought of himself as a panther. And
whoa, Brent, call back to last night, by the way.
Oh, yeah, like panthers.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that, too.
But
we'll get
anyway,
to that. Yeah.
He would say he had these really interesting quotes. Like he would say, I'm very fiery. I've got fiery equaling 3 men. And he would say stuff like he had these catchphrases. Like he had his signature phrase that he had, which was, "I'm built like a stallion. Only I wear the eccentric medallion. What up, baby? Mwah, spread the love." That was his signature phrase. He had this medallion that was this like panther medallion. Even though he was built like a stallion, though. But anyway, which is a different animal. But anyway, I saw the clip. I watched it. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, I watched it 50 times or something. I loved it. I memorized it exactly, and the dance moves and everything. I was so obsessed with it, and I wanted to find this guy. It took me a year, but I finally did track him down, and I got his information, and I asked him if he would perform at a comedy show of mine in Los Angeles. And so I had him perform as a musical guest, and it was pretty cool. But it's like he used a backing track, and I kind of thought it was better if he was a cappella. But anyway, I wanted to work with him more, and I convinced San Francisco Sketch Fest to fly him up and put him up in a hotel and everything, and have him perform at the Sketch Fest show that Cory went to. And that one was really cool because the backing, for some reason, the CD player wasn't working or something, and he couldn't use the backing track, so he did sing a cappella, and that was so awesome. I mean, I thought the performance was amazing, and he brought this girl on stage, and he sang to her, and he would do this, like, when he did the growl thing, it kind of startled her and stuff. It was so good. It was just amazing,
Dude, I was laughing so hard, but also, like, into it, just like Brent's response exactly, like, I was dying. I just was like, is this for real? Is he a character? I couldn't tell, but he was like good enough that you're like compelled. But
yeah. And the thing is I didn't want, like I didn't want it to be like I was exploiting. I mean, look, the guy, I do think he had some issues, like, I mean, he thought he was going to be huge. He was like, he would always say like, oh, I'm about to be huge. I'm going to be flying in private jets. He's like, I haven't, they want to, basically Motown Records wants to sign me. I just have to go down to Long Beach and get this guy's number or something like that. It was like these weird things that he would say. Like, I have to go down to Long Beach and get this guy's number so he can get signed to Motown Records.
Right.
He's like, Berry Gordy's son wants to sign me or some stuff like that, And I actually wanted to manage him, actually. I wanted to get him booked at, like, colleges and stuff. And I wanted to work with him more, but he was actually really difficult to work with. And so I had to drop him, actually.
Those people are generally kind of difficult.
But he was an amazing talent.
Well, what was the structure of this show that Cory saw you and Eccentric on?
It was a show that basically Moshe and I had this show that we would do in the Bay Area called Smug Shift. And it was just like a comedy showcase thing, but we would always have a musical guest.
Oh, okay.
So he was one of the musical guests. We had 2 musical guests, I think. We had a beatboxer, and then we had Eccentric as well. Yeah. God, it sucks. There was some news source covered the story. It was like CNET or something, and they covered it, and they made this video and they edited it, and it was such a good video the way it was edited. And I wish that still was up online, but it's not anymore, and it's long gone, the edited version of that.
Oh.
Because he had this song called "Dear Planet," and I memorized the lyrics to it, and it went, "Dear planet, in the wide, wide space, won't you open your gate, sucking up in mine and say, hey, brightness and darkness are flashing my way. I've been waiting for you. Why don't you come my way?" And I was singing it, and they kind of cut that with him singing it on stage, and it was just really good. I wish I still had that.
You should.
Anyway.
I mean, you're going to do your own thing, but I think if you have some of Eccentric's songs memorized, you should just bust them out on stage every now and then, and you can give him credit.
Or, it's sort of like, how there was a Gallagher, because he doesn't do Eccentric anymore, I don't think, but it's, how there's Gallagher 2, maybe I could just do Eccentric 2 and just do it.
Dude, that would be, now that's something that would work because how there's no way to do stand-up comedy anymore, so everybody's doing these weird streaming shows.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's something that would translate really well.
Totally, yeah.
If you got on the ground, Brent, and you crawled around like a tiger or a panther,
yeah,
I mean that's priceless.
And
I just want to see you
those
do that.
Would you would you take your shirt off and put would you ever get spray tanned, Brent?
I mean,
how far would you go to mimic his look?
I would do it for the right price, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I don't know if I'd go through that trouble just for the fun of it or whatever.
But what if it's that's, you don't get, that's what makes you wealthy. You got to do the spray tan first. Nobody's going to pay you to do the spray tan.
So
once you do it, then your business takes off.
Well, if I knew 100% that it was going to make me take off, maybe. Actually, I don't know, man. Spray tan, that's so gross. Ugh,
I was going to do that. I did it once, and you know what? It just made me look better. I wanted to. Well, here was the idea. I was going to do this cruise thing, and I was like, oh, before the cruise, I'm going to get a super dark spray tan, bleach my hair, and get my teeth whitened just so I look fucking crazy.
Oh my God, that is crazy. That's really funny.
And I went to but the spray tan, the way it works is they don't just, I guess you got to do it a different way. Because I went and I was like, I want the darkest tan you can give me. And they were like, okay, it's go into that chamber or whatever. And, but the way it is, it doesn't just spray on you. It doesn't spray brown shit on you. It was clear. And I was just like, what is this? And they're like, well, you got to in 5 hours or whatever, it's going to it mixes with your skin tone or something. So it was it just kind of made me look healthy. I was like, oh shit, I look like I got a nice tan. It didn't look weird at all.
See, that's the bummer. I went to I remember one time when we were I left a day of shooting of that show that we're supposed to be talking about. This whole podcast.
Yeah, Dress Up Gang, Aaron.
Dressing Gang. Yeah, so I went to dinner and I went to use the restroom and I looked in the mirror and I was like, whoa, I look good. I was like, damn, I look healthy and kind of glowing. And I was like I caught myself and I was like, oh, I forgot to take my makeup off today after shooting. And it was such a bummer because I was like, damn, I got to admit, makeup look good.
I never use makeup ever in any shoots that I do. I just always opt out of not doing makeup.
Just another way for Brent to make everybody annoyed.
What was he would have his little napkin in his pocket so you could dab his forehead so they wouldn't come up and touch him up.
Yeah, because I don't I don't know. I don't want someone putting their pads on me.
Doesn't take his shoes off at the airport. I mean, you probably his shoes off. We went. I don't know. We were doing some festival together, and it was before you had pre-check, or even if you do have it. And there was a little group of us. All were on the same flight and traveling together. And Brent wouldn't take his shoes off at the TSA. So they put him in a little room. Basically everything. There's 6 people just wait. What is going on? It's Brent won't take his shoes off. They have him in some room.
Well, I had a whole scam that I used to do. Well, not like a scam, but I mean a scheme that I would do to not be able to to get away with not taking off my shoes, which is, you basically if you have a medical condition, you don't have to take off your shoes, and if they ask you what the condition is, you don't have to say what it. I didn't know this at the time, but I later learned that you don't have to say it, and you can just say it's personal, and they can't ask you actually any more than that. But I used to say that it was that
you're crazy.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, no, I used to say that I had a POTUS manlii or hypopotus manlii. So POTUS manlii is the name of the insect that Julian sent. In the movie Arachnophobia, he names an insect in the beginning of the movie. He says, "I think I'll call it POTUS manlii," and that's where I got that from. But just removing your shoes is so stupid. It just doesn't even, especially if you're wearing sneakers or something, or if you don't have metal in your shoes or whatever. It's like it's so pointless, and they do these things because they think it will make people feel.
You know what I think it is? I think it's a demoralizing thing. Like it's a power thing.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
to make
yeah.
you subservient.
Actually, exactly. That's actually what I would say is that there's so many arguments. I was actually trying to get a petition. I tried to get a petition going on that site where you can start petitions.
Yeah, change.org.
To make it to get rid of the whole shoe policy thing because it was like dehumanizing, and also, but it was also just not hygienic at all, It was just so like nasty, actually.
Yeah.
Well, also, if you ever fly to the private airports there's zero security, none.
Yeah.
I used to work in organ donation. I'd have a duffel bag full of metal saws and shit for, okay, that sounds aggressive, but metal equipment that we would use for organ donation recoveries, and you walk right on a private plane with a duffel bag full of metal, and not one person stops you. You get on a plane and take off. It's like if we really cared about that kind of safety, it's bizarre.
Well, that's the other thing is that it wasn't standardized. Security acted differently depending on who the person was. It didn't even matter the airport. I mean, there was like different people at the same airport might be different, and the way that they let people in, it just was so stupid.
Hey, Brent, how about an episode of the show where it's like a heist movie? But the whole goal is just to get through airport security with your shoes on. But we treat it like Born Identity or like some kind of huge heist thing where Bad Boy Brent's going to pull off this huge heist.
You could paint your shoes like feet at one point.
Well, I
have all these
actually,
different plans.
I actually have this whole. I was going to do this little like kind of digital series for Comedy Central that we didn't end up shooting because they thought it was going to be too costly. But I wrote the scripts for it already. But it's all these different ways of dealing with. It basically was called the OCD Guide to Airports and Flying, and it was all these kind of tips and tactics you can use to get through security in a way that feels more comfortable and where you don't have to do stuff like take off your shoes and stuff. And there was like, I don't know, all these different kind of, operations you can kind of pull off or whatever. Probably draw from that. We could probably draw from that for the episode,
Hey, Cory, we were talking about, like the show was shelved and now it's aired on TBS and everybody should watch it, whoever's listening to this. Because it is like, it's one of the funniest shows I've seen in a long time. That's, I'd say the Dress Up Gang. And have you guys watched, what's that dude's name? Tim Robinson?
Tim Robinson.
I think you should
leave.
Like that, I had similar reactions to those because it's unfortunately, I mean, it's so refreshing to see something that's just genuinely funny and not like trying to do doesn't have an agenda or whatever, and it's just so rare these days where you're just like, oh shit, this is just funny.
Right. Yeah. I thought, our shows are really different, but I had the same thought with Tim Robinson's where I was like, oh, this is just silly and like fun.
Yeah.
It's not just trying to be messagey or I don't even like stuff that I prefer to keep it away from current events just so like when you watch it, you're kind of escaping into something instead of.
Well, what's so great about your show too, Cory? And Cory was telling me that it's more his show than the other guys. Did you know that, Brent? It's more his. But it's all the performances, like nobody fucks it up. Like there's not one person where you're like, all right, I mean, this guy kind of sucks, but the rest of the show is good. Like everybody, like the performances are done so well. Like nobody's fucking hamming it up or acting. Like even like the silliest part that comes to mind is like that one part when you were dancing around with your shirt off, Cory.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's like pretty broad, over the top silly, but I was laughing so hard at like, it's executed well.
That's
thanks. Good. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
They have such a great sensibility about what their vision of the show and just in general. So I think if anybody does overact or do anything too, if too big, they always know to ask them to dial it down or whatever, and they get multiple takes and stuff. So they're always like trying to get a more subdued or kind of grounded performance because that's the whole sort of kind of conceptual premise behind the show. It really is to play everything really straight.
How many episodes are you in, Brent?
I'm in 6 segments of the 19 segments. So there's
Is that it?
What?
Is that it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really in a ton of the show. I mean, I have one episode that is like kind of my main episode, and then I'm I appear in some of the other segments. But there's 19 segments. Right, there is 19 segments, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm in six of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the hardest part of the show, is that we had the cast pretty big, and then it's like if you put people in an episode but don't give them much to do, then it feels whack. And then like I like the Dessert for Donnie episode with Brent, because it's like, all right, let's just let Brent do his thing instead of trying to, I don't know, because you only have 10-minute stories. It's hard to get a lot of characters in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one. That's my main. That's like my featured episode, is that Dessert for Donnie.
You know, we wanted to, in some version of Ding Dong Ditcher, you were gonna play. We wanted you to do you're like Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs. Like you're the killer who can help us catch the killer. Like you're the you've done Ding Dong Ditching, and so you could tell us how to catch the person.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good angle there, but
Is there any
but
kind
hard
of
to fit into an yeah.
Is there any talk of like, them like is the show, or people watching it, or?
I don't know. We're getting a lot of messages, but if you get 40 messages, that could be just 40 people watched it. I have no sense. We have a call with them at 3 today to talk about it.
I hope that people who don't know us or know our comedy or whatever are checking it out. You know what I mean? That are just random people who are watch TBS or whatever, or finding it.
I have gotten a lot of messages. This actually makes me feel really good. I've gotten some from parents or people kind of our age that they've said they've been enjoying watching it with their parents or with their kids as a way to bond right now.
That's interesting.
And
okay.
Yeah, and when I was seeing somebody who had kids and for a while, and it's hard to find shit that you like and someone of a different generation than you likes. And so that I thought that was kind of cool, that maybe different, because it's pretty G-rated overall, actually.
Well, the parents have to have a good sense of humor. That reminds me of when I was little, the first Gary Shandling show.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
That was like, I remember my mom really liked it too. And it was just something like, I just remember like me and my mom, my little brother just cracking up at that show, which is like really something to aspire towards. What you guys are doing.
It's cool because like my nephews watch the whole thing, and they're like 4 and 6, and they've been stoked on it. And they don't probably get much of it, but they kind of do. And they think someone like Frankie's funny with his beatboxing, and they latch on to different things. But
what are they honing in on? What are they?
So they kind of, because the stories are taken seriously. They're like, were there really cockroaches in your? Well, first of all, they're confused because I still live in the apartment that we shot the show in. So they're like, wait, are there really cockroaches in your apartment? I'm like, no, there was once, and that's why we thought of it. But they asked me questions about like the stories, and then they really love the walk we do when we go to McDonald's in the Burger Buddies episode.
Right.
Oh, dude.
I showed them. Yeah.
I wanted to mention that because I was so happy to see that. Like, I've been on this Phil Collins kick for like a year, and that the Invisible Touch album that song's on, which I was kind of amazed that you got to use that. I don't like.
That was our big get.
Did that cost a fortune?
I can't totally remember, but I want to say it was something like $60,000 or something.
Wow. I mean, you got your money's worth.
That song cost more than any actor made on the show. Put it that way.
for unlimited needle drops or what? I mean,
no. Well, it's because we used it in the song so many times and it was prominent. However, they figured it out.
You show the video too, don't you?
We used a Big Bad Voodoo Daddy ringtone in the Cory from Beyond episode. I want to say that was like $25,000.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Like it's hard because you want to use certain songs for. Well, a lot of it I didn't really realize either because
it's important.
I wasn't trying to pay attention to the budget, but it's just crazy expensive.
Well,
did you ever use Autumn Leaves ever once or no?
No, because that Autumn Leaves by Nat King Cole is our theme song in the web series because we just posted on the line. Who cares?
Yeah.
And to use that as the theme song was going to be $300,000.
How many?
Which was $300,000.
What?
That's the business to get into, man. You make one good song, you can live the rest of your life on that shit. I'm not saying Nat King Cole only made one good song, but I'm just like, it's just generating fucking like guys like, you know, Tom Petty or someone. It's just like, I mean, he's dead, but his family's getting fat checks.
I mean,
And I've
Cory,
heard
let's
that-
try to take the magic out of Christmas, be it like a number 1 hit, you know?
Hey, that's right. That's right. We made a Christmas song on a video in December.
I'm writing a song. I was up real late last night making a song. It's called COVID Strong. I'm trying to make it like a weird We Are the World type thing.
Like a Live Aid type thing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I made shirts that say COVID Strong on them. If anybody wants to get one, teespring.com/COVID Strong.
Wait a minute, man. You can make a lot of money on that.
I'm trying. Not many people are ordering.
I feel like you're somebody who'd have like some like really weird random income sources that would be hard to explain or something.
Yeah.
I could see like some mug you thought of.
Yeah, that's the goal. I have this idea that I've never gotten off the ground. It's unstainable underpants, where they're just underpants that are yellow in the front and brown in the back. But it's like dealing with textiles is so. I'm just like, somebody else has to figure out how to get these made. But is
the brand called Unstainable?
I don't think there is a brand called that. I mean, I haven't.
No. I mean, the brand that you wanted to start, is it called Unstainable?
Yeah, Unstainable Underpants. That's what it'd be called.
Oh no, it could just be called Unstainable though. You don't even need to say underpants, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, because then you can make white T-shirts that have little yellow globs on them, like mustard fell on it.
Like yellow and red for mustard and ketchup.
Yeah. You could, there's a website called what is that called? Someone just sent it to me for making merch and stuff, and like you can design all it right on there, and you can do it where it's made to order. So they only make them if someone buys them.
It might be. Oh, there's a couple like that. That's what this Teespring is that I make that I'm making my COVID Strong shirts on, and I've made some other ones. Like I made one a few years ago that just said I lost a loved one, and I don't know why.
Hey, do you wear briefs or? What do you wear? Do you wear briefs?
Come on, Brent. You're such a fucking pervert, dude. That was another thing Cory was saying.
I was going around asking everybody what underwear they wear.
He didn't wear he wouldn't wear underpants in any scene. That way later he could tell people he was kind of like, it's a nasty little secret he could share for behind the scenes.
Me getting away with not taking off my shoes at the airport, like another little thing. Like, I get away with not wearing any underwear on the set.
I'm going to guess that you do wear tighty whities, Brent.
Yeah, indeed, I do. Yeah, absolutely. I don't call them that though. I just call them briefs, but I call them like classic white briefs. Yeah.
I'm going to guess.
A lot of confidence.
I think Cory strikes.
You don't guess that. I said it on your show though when we did the show with a friend. I said it on stage. Maybe that's where you're getting that from. Maybe.
Oh, maybe. I don't. I mean, you just kind of have that vibe, and I'm going to guess that Cory's maybe just straight up boxers. He kind of has that vibe.
Right.
I was boxers, but then I started going the boxer brief.
Yeah, that's me too. I used to be boxers.
And then, I bought some at H&M, and I didn't realize that they make them without the fly.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Which is weird, but then I kind of liked it because it's a little like snugger.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I've been rolling with.
I never used the hole. I never used the underwear hole to pee out of.
Yeah, it's not really necessary. That's too much trouble to
go over the top.
Penis through the hole. I mean, what?
Yeah.
What's the point of that? It's so much easier to just pull it down,
I'm all about getting my penis into holes, not out of holes, dude.
Bingo.
But boxer briefs, I call mine, because those are boxer briefs, I call my briefs true briefs.
Okay. Would you buy unstainable underpants? Ones that are yellow in the front and brown in the back?
I guess as a novelty item, yeah.
It's got Spencer's written all over it, but clever,
Spencer's.
I don't really stain. I don't functionally. I don't really need them because I don't stain.
Yeah. Spencer's is an essential business.
I abstain.
You abstain?
I abstain.
Oh. You stain your abs?
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we should. This has been fun. I could talk to you guys all day. We almost have.
No, yeah, likewise. It's been fun. I do need to get going.
How long is your podcast usually?
I've been doing I have a Patreon now, so I'll put I'll just save like 20 to 30 minutes for the Patreon.
Yeah.
So when I edit this, I mean, this is a long one. So I was hoping to do some crank. There was a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about that I didn't get to.
Oh, let's whip through them real quick. Rapid fire.
Well, I thought it might be fun to do a crank call with you guys. Also, there was, I don't know if Cory, if you remember this, but one of the last time, I think we did a show together at the Virgil, or maybe I wasn't even on the show. And then we were talking afterwards because I just watched that movie, Stuber.
Yeah.
You familiar with that, Brent?
No.
Stuber. It's Kumail Nanjiani as an Uber driver.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And and I'm not slamming. Kumail's one of my closest friends.
By the way, when I said I saw it, I mean I saw the billboard for it or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know where. Oh, I have this like Fire Stick where you get like pirated movies or whatever. But anyway, I was just I just put it on. I was like, let's see what this is all about. And right off the bat, and then listen, I'm not slamming the movie or anything, but this is a pet peeve of mine because I've had we've all pitched shows, right? We've all had meetings and pitched ideas that are all worked out in our head. And then you get these curveball questions like, well, wait a minute, why is this guy doing this if he did that? Or what's the what's the deeper meaning in this? And where you're like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's a comedy show. Who cares?
I hate that. I hate that. I hate when they're just like, it's like none of these questions matter. All that matters, I wish they would just say, look, I like what your previous work. I trust what you're going to do is going to be funny or interesting. Just do whatever you want. That's what it should be. None of these questions matter.
As long as you're able to see it, hear it, and it's funny, that's all you need.
Especially when you have examples of what you've done already and say, I just want to do more of this or longer versions of this. It's like, why do you need these questions answered?
Because you're not. People are justifying their existence, and you're not. Super famous. Like
I always am kind of like, how did you even get pitch this? You know what I mean? I always think because there's a lot of stuff that I think is kind of unanswered in their show, and that's cool that it was able to move forward and move past all that crap and get made. But it's like, there's so much stuff like, what do these guys do? I mean, there's a lot of things that are not answered in the show. Which
you're talking about Dress Up Gang?
I don't care about, but I would imagine industry people would care about. And I'm just always surprised that the show got
part
made.
of pitching it was that we'd already made the web series, so
yeah.
But it's like, even still, they still want to know the answers to these questions. It's like,
well, so and
like Doug and I, we made this web series Poundhouse, which did it was kind of a somewhat popular web series, and we try to make a TV show version of it and just couldn't do it. Nobody would do it. They just same kind of thing. Same kind of. We have the proof.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say about?
So
Stuber,
this is what I was going. So this is my pet peeve about. So the movie Stuber, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but right from the beginning, it's about an Uber driver that winds up getting his car commandeered by a cop. He's whatever. He gets on an adventure because he's an Uber driver. The very beginning of the movie, they completely disregard how Uber works in real life.
I was curious, as business-wise, did they use Uber? Did they, were they because I wondered if Uber partnered with them to get the brand out there.
I should have done the research to refresh my memory on all this. I don't think so. I think it was I think
is it a workaround? We're not actually Uber.
You know what? I think he was Uber because maybe his name was Stewart or something.
Oh, I was thinking that Stuber was the name of this sort of alternate fictional kind of Uber-like.
Shit.
I thought it was a Stu name. Yeah, I thought Stu used Uber.
Yeah, you know what? I should have done the research. But either way, we're getting a little sidetracked. And I'm not slamming Stuber. There were just logic issues where I just feel like if you're making a movie that's based on Uber, at least have the way Uber works be realistic.
That shit drives me crazy. The Invisible Man that just came out had a bunch of shit like that.
Yes. Yeah, everybody's raving about the Invisible Man. I thought it was fine.
That's fine. There's a couple good scares, but the logic behind it is so fucking
flimsy.
Off.
Yeah.
And this is based on the Ralph Ellison novel?
No.
I doubt it. It's more just there's an invisible killer.
I'm just kidding.
Well, and also it's whatever. I don't want to get into it, but I was watching it with Amanda, and it's and I'm sure it exists. Listen, I'm not making light of spousal abuse and stuff, but I just feel like only in movies are people trapped in situations like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, and then these people that are so supportive for her in one way in the movie are completely not down to believe hey, his blood-covered prescription pill container showed up in the bathroom. Yeah, that is weird. Let's look into that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, no one believed her at all, which I know is the plight of women when they go through that. But they gave that role to characters that are also really loving and supportive for it.
So
they also forget that when you're invisible, you still make sound and shit. Just because you're invisible doesn't mean you're not, like, physically in the space. Movies like that, I'm like, just pull out the 3 jump scares and then give me the minimum amount of tissue around it to make that work.
Yeah.
This whole 2-hour experience is not worth it.
So back to Stuber. Either way, we were just shooting the breeze after a show at the Virgil. And then you and I were talking about making a movie, Cory, called...
Well, I don't remember this movie. Yeah, go for it.
It was called Clift, about a guy that drives Lyft, but he has sex with his car. I don't remember the ins and outs, but Amanda was there too, and she's like, that was so funny. You should do something with that. Like,
fuck, that is so funny. I that lights up a little light in my head, but I don't remember any details about it.
Yeah, me neither. We were just kind of like.
Was that the same night you did the crank call to the children's hospital?
It might have been, yeah. Dude,
that was like. Again, like the fact that you can get shock out of a jaded comic at this point, I was like, what is he doing? Like I fully bought into that.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't I? That's right. That's right. I was like, we should. I was having that feeling of like, should we stop this? Like, should I go on stage?
Yeah. It is.
That's a real mind messer upper, like just everyone thinking that you're doing that. So crazy.
It's just the craziest idea, because like then when you just think about it on paper too, it's just like who would think, like, calling it a bomb threat to the children's hospital, like on what level does that make any sense?
No, it's seriously like one of the you must be like, you have the adrenaline junkie rush thing that like an extreme athlete is aiming for. You're probably like the social awkwardness version of that or something.
Man, that's a fun bit. I probably won't be able to do it again on stage.
I couldn't believe you did it then. Oh, you think, come on, we'll be doing stand-up in a year.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, you mean you can't? Yeah, okay, right.
Well, it's just
you can do it. You could do it on a live streamed kind of thing or something.
Well, I do it, yeah, and I probably will. I mean, it's a it's a bit that I've been doing for a long time, like mainly relegated to my old podcast, but still, like. That's a problem I've always had for comedy, where I'm like, that's a fucking old bit. Everybody's seen it. It's like, no, actually only like 4,000 people in the universe have seen it.
I have that same issue, by the way, too, though. That it's like, but see, the thing is, I feel like it's only the same 4,000 people that are watching me all the time. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, I think that
well,
too.
Like,
everyone see that bit, but it's like the only people watching me have seen that bit, even if it is, you know what I mean? I don't know, something like that.
What was that, Cory?
Well, and you feel bad for, like, if someone has followed you through, been interested in your stuff for that long, like, you want to reward them. You don't want to be like, I don't know. It's like you want to cater to the people that might be your biggest fans, I feel like.
Well, there's two ways to look at it. You just can't ever really please everyone anyway. Because, like, then if you thinking that way and then someone comes up to you after a show and they're like, oh, man, you didn't do the fucking
right.
Where
People do want to see it, I guess. I mean, I guess people do. I mean, I like to see, jokes from, that I like to see people do. But
well, and back to the name thing, I always feel like we get in our own heads and kind of hold ourselves back. Like, part of the reason a stage name would be tough, I feel like, is because when you start stand-up, you're at open mics in small rooms with mostly other comics, and other comics would be like, why the fuck are you calling yourself that? Like, that's not your name. Like, I don't know. I feel like when I look back, comics we used to like, at least in San, I just remember feeling like sort of, I'm trying to impress them, or I don't want them to think I'm stupid, instead of being like, well, what would help me with crowds? That's the whole point of this.
Totally. I that's a huge thing that I don't like, the idea that people are being real on stage, like, by the fact that you're on stage already makes it not real. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that you're not, like, there's this whole idea that I think people have about being real on stage and, like, getting to truth or whatever. But I think the mere fact that you're not having a real conversation actually with people. You're doing like that. You're on stage. There's people watching you. everything is artificial about that, you know?
Totally.
Hey, Brent, remember that time when we met you at the Walgreens at Western and Sunset and Chelsea Peretti touched your popsicle?
That's not what happened. First of all, we all went to Walgreens together.
Well, I met you guys. I was driving home. I was driving separately. I was coming home from
okay.
UCB.
So
You
Chelsea
guys
and Moshe and I went to, or I think it was Moshe. We all went to Walgreens to get popsicles.
Yeah.
You know, like those Mexican popsicles. You know.
Well, you wanted them. They said you were hounding them to go there.
No.
That's why I met you.
We're all interested in that sort of thing. You know.
Okay.
And so. I guess we ran into you there.
What's going on?
Oh, sorry about that.
I'm good.
I guess you met up with us there. And anyway, what happened was, I'm trying to remember how this goes. It was like.
I mean, I remember. I have a very clear vision of how it went.
Oh no, but she didn't touch it. You did though.
No, it was Chelsea did it.
Oh.
I gave her the idea to do it, but she went and did it because I remember she took her thumb and forefinger and went, "Is this good?" and like grabbed like the tip of it.
She like touched it with her fingers, but then I think after that you did a follow up and you said, "Well, no, she only touched it from here to here. Like the rest of this from here to here is good." And then you touched the rest of it, with your finger. Like, no, the rest of it is clean. Like from here to here.
Oh, that's a good
great.
tag. I forgot that part.
There you go. Brent came in with the punchline. He told that story earlier, Brent, but left out that punchline. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think we ever talked about it since it happened 10 years ago.
Yeah,
it's good to get that out the public and kind of rehash.
I mean, whatever. It was, it was a. I think. Do you remember what flavor it was? Was it a coconut or was it watermelon?
Coconut.
Yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah, and it was like, you weren't happy with it, but I got, that's one of the.
No, I actually didn't. I didn't care. I mean, it was like they were $1, and I knew that you guys were going to get me another one anyway. I mean, it was like not a big. I mean, I didn't think it was a big deal.
Hey guys, I gotta pop off for a thing or two.
No, that's. Thanks for doing this, Cory. Let's talk about Clift a little more in the future. If maybe I'll get a Google Doc started, we could start writing the movie Clift, all three of us.
No, I think that's good. I'll look at my phone too. Sometimes I write down little.
You said all three of us? Like I'm in on it too now.
Yeah, if you want to be in on it too, dude, I think you'd be perfect to play Clift.
Oh, are you talking about Amanda? All three of you, meaning you?
No, you too, Brent. I mean, why not? Like.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, man. Sure. Yeah. Let me. Oh, yeah. Can you write?
I kind of feel like
write this as
I think it's one of those things where if we just said we had to write it in 2 days, we just did it. We didn't overthink it.
Yeah.
We might have a banger.
Can you write it as a vehicle for me?
Oh, is that a pun? Vehicle? Okay. Well, I'll let you go. Yeah, I'll get a Google Doc started. I have both your guys' emails. And maybe we'll do this again soon, and we'll just make some crank calls. I had a bunch of good ideas to crank call sandwich shops.
Oh yeah.
But we'll do it another time. We'll do it another time.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I had fun talking to you guys. I hope you guys had fun too.
Yeah.
I had a blast.
Awesome.
That flew, man.
And everybody listening, watch the Dress Up Gang and follow Brent on YouTube. I just watched Mind Jack the other night.
You'd never seen it before?
Hilarious.
I had seen it before, but I was like, I love Jamar Neighbors on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I just like wound up like looking up Jamar Neighbors stuff, and then he's in that one video where the semen winds up in the guy's mouth.
Yeah. You've seen all the episodes of Mind Jack? There's 3 of them.
Yeah, I saw them. I saw them when you did them, like however long ago that was.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Brent is the extreme drum. What's the drum video called?
UltimateDrummingTechnique.com.
If nobody's seen that.
For the full uncensored version, if you want.
UltimateDrummingTechnique.com. Have you seen that, Cory?
Yeah, a long time ago. Love that video.
That's such a good video. And then
I actually auditioned for it, but didn't get cast.
Oh, that's a bummer. Too big, probably too big of a penis.
Yeah, too big, man. I kept hitting the cymbal.
And Cory, so watch the Dress Up Gang. It's mostly Cory's show, but it's an ensemble cast.
But there's other people there.
Yeah. But yeah, it's more yours than.
No, it's very much an ensemble thing. Even the characters are all versions of everybody's real life selves.
Kind of. I mean,
exaggerate.
Last name ever came up, I would be trying to have a fictional last name on the show.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the call goes well today and you get a season 2. It's I don't see why they wouldn't make more of that. And also,
I think the call's even more basic. It's can we get them to spend any money to kind of promote the show?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I got this good idea for a season 2 finale, you know, and it's just, man, if that could happen, man, it'd be so fun. But anyway, yeah.
I know.
Well, we'll do this again soon. I'll send you guys a Google Doc and we'll get Cliff started.
That's what the next podcast will be. We can write it together on air.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
I think it'd be fun.
Oh, totally. We've come up with the whole story.
All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll let you go.
All
Thanks
right,
for doing
sounds
this.
good.
All right, love you.
See you, buddy. Thanks for having me on, man. See you, bro.
See you.
All right, thanks for having us. Bye.
You could do it. You could do it. Break the world record. There's nothing to it. Maybe you could do it right. You could do it. Break a world record. Yeah, there's nothing you could do it.